That shit was fucked up last night, right?
Also commands the house a flying battleship.
I've seen it. The bow looks like its mask. Kind of weirdo. What's his face on the bow of a ship anyway?
It also seems Meta Knight's face might have looked a little different at some point. Concept art exists of an all-red, butterfly-inspired Meta Knight found within the Kirby's 20th anniversary art book. There's no confirmation for where this costume would have been used or how old the design is, but it definitely does look amazing in the Project M fan mod. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror introduces us to yet another form of our favorite masked anti-hero, Dark Meta Knight. You thought this guy was edgy? Move over, kid. We're about to reach maximum edginess. Dark Meta Knight is so edgy, he doesn't even give you a sword to duel him with. Now that's evil. I bet he doesn't even look both ways before crossing the street. Dark Meta Knight also gets his revenge in two of the hardest boss rushes in Kirby Triple Deluxe. He's so edgy, he re-enters the world by wiping off his blood stains. Or maybe they're like petals or something, I don't know. And a final Meta Knight alternate form exists in Galacta Knight, first revealed in Kirby Superstar Ultra. Galacta Knight is the final boss in Meta Knight's playthrough of the game, presenting him with a duel of the strongest warrior in the galaxy. Galacta Knight has a hot pink body, fights with a lance and shield, and has even more moves than the traditional Meta Knight boss set. He returns in Return to Dreamland, and even has his own trophy in Super Smash Bros. Wii U. Back in the Amazing Mirror, real, not Dark Meta Knight also delivers arguably the strongest copy ability in the game, Master, by passing his sword on to Kirby. In Amazing Mirror, Meta Knight's blade is referred to as the Master Sword, likely a Legend of Zelda reference. However, this sword has since been named. Meta Knight's signature blade is now called Galaxia. This blade first got its title from the Kirby anime, known as Kirby Right Back At Ya. Oh yeah, that was a thing. In the anime, Meta Knight takes on a much more cooperative role with Kirby, serving as more of a mentor that occasionally pushes his student a little too hard. He also sounds like this.
I do not understand. I thought you wanted me to do battle with Kirby.
I see where they're going with this, like a Zorro swordsman inspiration, but definitely not what I was expecting. His voice actor is Eric Stewart, known for other popular 4Kids roles like Brock, James, and Seto Kaiba.
Unfortunately, you don't have a lot of reach. With those tiny arms, you cannot touch me.
And last but not least, I'm sure one of the most common places many of you have encountered Meta Knight is from Super Smash Bros. So here's a handful of Meta Knight Smash facts. For example, Super Smash Bros. Brawl isn't actually the first appearance of Meta Knight. He has a trophy in Melee. A trophy that is full of mistakes. Well, for one, they got the name wrong. It's Meta Space Knight, not Meta Dash Knight. It's still dumb, but we went over this earlier in the video, and I'm not letting that 5 seconds of useless trivia go to waste. 2, his body is silver instead of the usual dark blue. And 3, they list his first appearance as Kirby Superstar, even though it was actually Kirby's Adventure. Clearly, Sakurai was so enraged when he saw the Meta Knight errors in Melee that he unleashed to the world the terror that is Meta Knight Brawl. Meta Knight in Brawl is arguably the strongest single Smash Bros. Character ever developed, and it's certainly one of the most controversial. As some kind of grotesque combination between Jigglypuff's jumps and air game and Marth's range and combos, Meta Knight has an insane mix of priority, edge guarding, and recovery. He dominated the competitive Brawl circuit and dictated the metagame, to the point where Meta Knight is officially banned in many major tournaments for Brawl, even to this day. Here's my favorite thing to do with Meta Knight in a single set of jumps. That's disgusting. This move, the Shuttle Loop, actually inspired a real Meta Knight attack within the Kirby games. In Kirby's Return to Dreamland, you can perform a similar attack with his down-up special. You can even continue the glide, just like in Brawl. Here's some more fun Brawl trivia. There exists data to suggest that battle damage on characters was at one point a feature considered for inclusion in Brawl. The biggest found examples of this are Captain Falcon with a broken visor, and Meta Knight's mask with deep gashes in it. In Smash Bros. 4, Meta Knight's recovery and hitboxes have been nerfed to make him more balanced. He also can't fly. That hasn't stopped him from achieving some pretty high-level height in modern tournaments. Strangely enough, though, we haven't seen the real Meta Knight take on one of his classic Kirby roles in a while, with 2011's Return to Dreamland being the last major role we've seen him in. He's popped in every now and then for some cameos, but even the 3DS game, which has Dark Meta Knight, doesn't have regular Meta Knight. It's a shame, too. Meta Knight is by far one of the coolest and most mysterious characters within the Nintendo universe, and I hope we see him return to a main series Kirby game soon. Thanks for watching today's What's Up With video. This is just the third video of this mini-series that we've done so far, and if you want to check out the last two, they're right here. If you have suggestions for other characters that you'd like to see more spotlight on, let me know in the comment section below. I'll catch you guys next time with more Nintendo content.
Hello there. Hello. Motherfucker. Yeah, what's cracking?
Hey everybody, it's J-Wits here with a new Nintendo Fact video. The Legend of Zelda series is by far one of the most beloved and longest running franchises in Nintendo's history. Zelda games don't come by all too often, typically dropping one main series title for every new console. In fact, the Zelda series is actually quite a bit different from Nintendo's other two largest franchises, Pokemon and Mario. Both of these have had dozens of spin-off titles over the years, ranging from racing to sports to puzzles to fighting games. Meanwhile, Zelda spin-offs are actually pretty rare. When working with today's guest, Alex from Zelda Universe, I found that if you do a bit of digging, you can unearth a handful of rare, unexpected, and even downright scary Zelda games.
That's right. Today, we're going to explore some of the most obscure Zelda games you might have missed.
The Missing Links.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Did you own a Japanese Famicom in the mid to late 90s, the Satellaview broadcast system add-on, and a subscription to St. Giga's satellite radio? No. Well, that would be why you missed the BS Zelda games. No, seriously, that's what they're called. BS.
Short for Broadcast Satellite View, the BS Zeldas were part of a Japan-only Famicom add-on, which allowed you to download exclusive Nintendo content over satellite.
The closest thing we received to this in the States would have been the Sega Channel, if you remember that. These games are especially rare because of their timing. The Satellaview ran mostly during the lifespan of the Nintendo 64, but it was on the Super Nintendo. There are two main categories of Zelda games to come from this system. The first, BS The Legend of Zelda, came in two separate quests and had remixed elements from the original NES Legend of Zelda title. These ones are especially interesting because they came with the upgraded 16-bit sprite palette, offering a similar graphical upgrade to the one you see in the Super Mario All-Stars game.
The second one, BS Ancient Stone Tablets, uses elements from the Super Nintendo's A Link to the Past.
However, despite both of these games being remixes of past Zelda titles, there are a ton of elements that make them unique. For one, you don't actually play as Link, but as the player avatar you selected for the Satellaview system, male or female.
The games also all operate on episodes on a clock-based system. Episodes were usually played in 1 hour at a time with a live countdown, forcing players to explore as much as they could during the time of the game was being broadcast by the system. Everything in this game was score-based, and players would race to compete for prizes during the 1 hour sessions.
You've heard this from me 1,000 times, but as you all know, I don't typically support emulation. However, considering there is absolutely zero way to play these games without a time machine, I think it's worth emulating these if you've never played them before. There's a surprising amount of patches that have come from the community at bszelda.zeldalegends.net.
There is one thing emulation can never bring back though, and that's the fact that both games also use live voice through the game.
Across your journey, the old man Agana gives you tips and gameplay secrets as the clock ticks down. Here's an example.
さらに X ボタンを押せばいい。 迷宮に入っている君は X ボタンを押すと行ったことのある部屋が
You know, all these voices are reminding me of the CDI.
Oh, we're going there, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going there. Next up on our stop for strange Zelda games, the Zelda CDI trilogy.
Here's another Zelda game strapped to some weird hardware. Once upon a time, in the early 90s, Nintendo wanted a CD add-on for the Super Nintendo. They began work on the system with Sony, but eventually negotiations fell through when it came to licensing. Nintendo decided to negotiate a better deal and undercut Sony by working with their rival Philips. Poor Sony had to make a CD game console all by themselves without Nintendo's help. Oh. I think one of these two companies maybe regrets that decision.
The irony is that a Philips-created Super Nintendo add-on never ended up happening either. But their deal with Philips allowed them to use Nintendo's licensed characters on their own console, the Philips CDI. This brought us a new Triforce of Zelda games, some of the rarest in existence, but maybe not the most beloved.
What a cruel joke. These games go for hundreds of dollars due to the CDI never selling very well and the stock being low. But what exactly do you get for that investment? Nightmares. The answer is nightmares. There's not much I can say about the CDI games that hasn't been said before. They aren't even Nintendo developed, and they're pretty unanimously regarded as the worst games to wear the Zelda title ever.
The much more well-known group of games include Link, The Faces of Evil, and Zelda, The Wand of Gamelon. Each game is a side-scroller and featured a separate main character saving the other one from Ganon.
These animated cutscenes are nothing but pure terror. Everyone's a maniac. It's like they took the usual Zelda NPC dialogue scenes and added a long puff of Scarecrow's fear toxin for good measure. But in a weird way, these cutscenes are really the only reason to play these games. The platforming's so frustrating and awkward that you almost begin to use cutscenes as a reward for fighting through it. Just how weird can it get? I gotta keep playing so I can find out.
You've probably seen,
I wonder what's for dinner.
and I know you've seen,
I can't wait to bomb some Dodongos.
but grind through both of these games and I'm telling you, you will know true fear.
I replace your soul. You will obey.
The third and rarest of the three, Zelda's Adventure, plays more like the traditional top-down Zeldas. It's also the second of the three CDI Zeldas to star well, Zelda. It came from a completely different developer than the first two, and you can really tell right off the bat.
There's still cutscenes this time, but by cutscenes I mean creepy old man live-action sequences. His mouth doesn't even match the words. Sometimes it's just crossfades. Personally, I think this game is the worst of the three. It's the least broken in terms of fair gameplay.
Can we go somewhere a bit more
lifeless.
private?
Here's the music that you're gonna hear through 90% of Zelda's Adventure.
That's terrible!
Okay, so you know how every
Okay,
Zelda
what are
game
we gonna
we've done
do?
so far has voice work?
Yeah?
Well, I've got another one. Navi Trackers, the lost game mode hidden within the Japanese version of Four Swords Adventure.
Oh yeah! Some of you might remember a game by the name
You
of
like
Tetris
that, huh?
Trackers, announced around 2003. I remember reading about it in a Nintendo Power or something similar. Meant to be a standalone game where you compete against
Hello?
friends for treasure on the Game Boy Advance.